Welcome back to New Jersey Power and Politics. I'm Eric Landskroner. The political parties are divided over so many issues today, not the least of which is how to grow the economy. A concept introduced by one of our former Democratic legislators, jointly with a Republican businessman, claims to break the bipartisan gridlock here. Joining me now to break it down for us is former Deputy Speaker Upendra Chivukula, Christie appointed Commissioner to the State Board of Public Utilities, and author of the book, The Third Way. Now, the title of your book, interesting, it calls for widespread economic reform. The question is, what are the pillars of your plan? How does this differ from anything else that's out there right now?
Well, always focus has been on wages and increasing the wages, minimum wage. Federal minimum wage was increased 29 times, and a lot of talk about making the minimum wage to $15. But the interesting thing is that nobody talks about the capital income, which is the earning power, earning potential, which is measured in dollars. And that's what we are focusing on in this book, in that if you can focus on capital income, how do you share the capital wealth with the employees? So right now what's happening is that the wealth is concentrated in the top 20% have the 86% of the capital wealth, and that means 14% is left for the rest of the 80%. And also when you look at the incomes, how they have increased, top 1%, their income increased to 275% when compared to other people basically stayed flat or just did not increase at all. And so what we are saying here is that there is corporate tax, which is 35%, which is highest in the world. And there's a lot of talk in Washington about tax reform, and we are saying that providing tax credits, we're not mandating anything for corporations, but incentivizing corporations so that way they can share some of the capital wealth with their employees.
Now, you use the word share twice, and that's a word that people will look at when you hear shared wealth. People will take that leap and they'll say, well, that kind of sounds like redistribution of wealth. Well, what would you say to that?
I think it is not mandated. A lot of times people get uncomfortable with the fact that big government is telling us what to do. But here we are saying create that incentive. They're already, if you look at the Silicon Valley, which is one of the largest economic engines, and you have Procter & Gamble, you have Microsoft, Google, and then you have Publix Corporation, Whole Foods, all these companies. And recently, Chobani, which is a yogurt company, they have shared 10% of their capital with their employees, because employees are building the company and they should come up with something for their benefit.
So you want to give the corporations an incentive to give their employees an ownership stake in the company?
That's correct. Yeah, right now instead of paying 35% tax, if you cut it down to 50%, and with the condition that the employers share that as in the form of tax credits, so that way they can share that with their employees in the stock options, and that will help. And in the urban areas, when you have the enterprise zones where you can cut it 100% and try to share that, attract capital, private capital into urban areas and rural areas, and create employment as well as the sharing of the capital.
Is this something that you feel corporations and business owners are going to be interested in more and more, or is it something that you think that they're going to be a little bit afraid of because they want to keep that control for themselves?
No, we're not talking about control. There are a lot of the corporations right now. There are 10,000 companies and 15 million Americans and worldwide. They are benefiting from employee ownership. And my personal experience, I worked for AT&T Bell Labs for 18 years. And with my contribution and the company's match, I was able to retire at the age of 48. From the private sector, I went into public sector. Right. But I think that's what it is. And one quick example, if you rent a car, how many times have you taken that for a car wash? Or if you stay in a hotel, how much care you have taken. So ownership does something. It makes the employees work harder, smarter, grow the company.
And we're going to have to leave it right there. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Okay. And please stay with us. Much more to come here on New Jersey Power and Politics right after the break.